What up, party people? So last week I gave a first look at my new acquisition, which was the Zelter shelter. And as some of you know, if you watched it, first things first, my camera was out of focus, which is really pretty bad. But secondly, it left me wanting a bit. So I went home and I thought, how could I improve it? So I've done a couple of mods, or made a couple of mods, and I'm going to do a side-by-side type video to show you if it's better or worse. Not tried it yet, so you'll be finding out when I find out. The reason I've done these mods is I can't sew for toffee. If you had someone like a Mac tightwad who is a wizard with the sewing machine, it'd smash it. And they're very, very simple to do. All of mine are detachable. And yeah, very, very easy. I will be stitching it once I figure out how, or get someone to do it for me. As it stands at the moment, we'll have to see how these go. I will be taking the Zelter shelter out in its natural state just to see if it is usable or not. But I've got a feeling that it will be better off when I've done what I've done. So I'm going to do a side by side of me putting it up so you can see if it takes much longer. Yeah, take it for a walk round. I'll point out where I thought it was failing, and I'll show you the improvements, hopefully, that I've made. Just so you know though, there is a very good chance that this is going to go absolutely tits up because I haven't tested it. So here is me putting up the Zelter shelter.
What's that lurking in the woods? Is it a bear pulling its pud? Oh no, it's Nobby on the prowl again. Scratching his back against a tree, then digs a ditch and bends both knees to squat above it, dumping wild and free. Nobby, 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 pot man and pot beast, a cook a roadkill feast for you. Nobby, 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 you can find him in the woods, gotta wonder what he's up to. He'd admit he looks sustained, surprised the hammer takes that weight. Yeah, he's no oil painting, that's for sure. And he don't suffer fools at all, he's got a friend with just one bow. Deep down we know he loves us all, but we never let it show. Nobby, 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 pot man and pot beast, to cook a roadkill feast for you. Nobby, 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 you can find him in the woods, gotta wonder what he's up to. Get a fire going, chuck a rabbit on, maybe a wood pigeon will save the bacon grill till morning. And he's gonna try a running somersault, oh no.
Okay then, what I want to do now is just show you a few of the issues that I didn't actually personally like the first time I set it up. First things first, rigidity. Looks nice and rigid at the moment, I think you will agree. You can see that bending now. Now it's bending further down. So I'm not convinced that this will stand up to strong winds. Similarly with this bit here, there's no tie outs for it to actually stand up to any winds. Again, not the best. Footbox we know about. I've not been able to mod the footbox because it's a footbox. It's all stitched in and sewed in. Secondly, the way that this area here, when you peg it in, I'll just flip you around so you can see me. This area here is actually underneath the tent. Now, I can sort of understand why. It does give it a sort of bathtub effect, which would help the 2-inch gap you get down there. But, as it stands, you know, if you're rolling around in there, moving kit about, you are going to, you stand a chance of catching it. It'll be a bit pants. So, the mods I've done, just trying to think if there's anything else. Pull outs, that gap I can't do anything about. Peg position here and the sturdiness. So what I'll do now is go through the mods and how they have improved or not. As I said before, these mods are temporary mods. You could quite easily stitch things on here because it is literally a case of 1, 2, 3, 4 tie outs basically to really solve it. On the tie outs at the side, I have a suggestion which I'll say at the end, which would really make a difference with this shelter. But let's get to it. So then, first things first, rigidity. I think that's safe to say that is a lot more stable, will hold up a lot better to winds. I have to say, these mods, I'll go through the mods in a minute because they're not the best. They work for these purposes, but I'll explain why later. Right, rigidity. Straight away, you've got better rigidity. This pole, the idea was, it would sit about here. Because I've tarp clipped it onto the storm flap, it was giving a bit of a weird angle. So, let's see if I could actually get away with it. Yeah, you probably could. You probably could. But this isn't designed to be pegged to, so you're putting stress on, what do you call it? Oh, you pulled the peg out the back. You're putting stress on the storm flap. If you was just to stitch a long loop on here, you'd be golden. I can't stitch. So I've used tarp clips. On the end of the tarp clips, to stop them digging into the material, just cut the fingers off some rubber gloves. Ain't told the wife yet, she'll probably cop the ump. Anyhow, so that's that front bit. Does make getting in and out a little bit more difficult, but I would rather be rigid and have a little bit of issue getting in and out than keep getting slapped. Yeah, bit of a nightmare. On this side, once again, I've simply put a tarp clip with the rubber gloves on it. That now pegs out that corner. Everyone's a winner. Lovely job. Now these side bits. These tie outs at the moment are simply, I've got, you know the magnets that you get with the holes in the middle of them to hold your knives and stuff on your kitchen worktops. I've tied a knot in some paracord, attached it to the magnet. On top of that magnet, guess what? Cut the end off a rubber glove. On the inside, I've got another magnet which is just wrapped in a bit of ripstop nylon. What that does is stops it snapping together and ripping your material. Once again, all you would need is a little bit of webbing as a tie out. So 4 tie outs on this would get rid of that, which I think you'll agree We'll save a little bit of bulk when you pack it away. Now, this is my idea. And once again, the reason I've not done it is I'm a bit of a biff when it comes to stitching and crap like that. But this is an idea for Lee, the bloke that actually makes these, and see if it makes sense. If you were to have here a panel cut out with bug netting on it, and then a hood, like a little sheath, coming over the top with the webbing on the side, when you peg that out, it would open up that flap, allowing ventilation, because that is my major concern with this thing, is the ventilation. You could have it both sides, the wind would blow. You could have it both sides, and the breeze will go straight through that and hopefully clear 90% of the condensation. You could even have a flap on the inside if you wanted to close it off because you was getting too chilly. Just a thought, mate. I know you've got the hood there that you can undo to let the ventilation in and out, but if it's hoying it down, you're not going to want that. A porch. It's a little tiny porch over an opening with a bit of bug netting on it. That'll act as a pull out and a vent. Just saying. Should we go and have a look inside? That actually is a doddle to get in and out of. That is no problem whatsoever with that pole there. You've got ample of room. Ample of room? Was that even English? You've got ample room. I'll bring you inside. If you want a comparison to how it looked before, have a look at that video. Skip through it. A lot of it's out of focus, as I said earlier. I'll bring you in now just to see if you can see the difference. So, as you can remember before, that's just the other end of my magnet. Put some hooks on it so I could hang stuff if I wanted. Got the same that side, look down there, just a bit of magnet. So if you just have a look down the bottom here, even though the foot box is still small, you've got to bear in mind this is a sleeve to take the what do you call it, you've actually got more room inside here without the airbags getting on your tits. So more room either side, more room top and bottom, and more room above your head, because that would be inflated to there and you'd be a bit buggered. Same with these sides, that would be inflated like so. Where are you? That'll be inflated like so, and it'll be a bit of a nightmare. So hopefully from this angle you should be able to see how much more room I've got. And pack all that out of the way, obviously. I'm happy with the way they turned out. I need to get stitching, because obviously that storm flap isn't meant to have pressure pulled on it with a guy line. There'll be nothing stopping me using the guy line that's already there, even though it is slightly offset. I'm going to have to learn how to sew, because literally all it will take is 4 little bits of webbing, and it's made this a completely different shelter. If you had the vents here that you could open up and use that to pull the tent aside, it'd be the dog's nuts, mate. Lee, if you're watching, it would transform this from a good bit of kit into a proper good bit of kit. A vent on either side which act as tie outs, tie out on top, tie out in the corner in the right place, and you're golden. Hope that helps. Now, I was going to do pack size, but basically your pack size will go down by that. That's quite a lot to carry around. I'm guessing a good couple of 100 grams as well. And you ain't got that epoxy tube. Look at that tube. Look at it. Anyway, I'm happy with the way that's turned out. Yeah. Those magnets, I'll be honest with you, are definitely not going to be strong enough in any sort of wind, which is why I am going to need to learn how to sew. Everything else on it, hydrostatic head 10,000, the room inside once it is pegged out, the ease of putting it up, the speed of putting it up, the fact that you can wear it as a rain poncho, if that's the case, personally, I'd just use a poncho and sleep under a poncho because they work. But it is multifunctioning, so you've got that. If you wanted to set up really quickly to have your lunch up on the Ulu, you can do it. So that is the modifications to the Zelter shelter. Anything else you need to know? Yeah, cutting the fingers off your wife's rubber gloves ain't necessarily the greatest idea I've ever had. Ignore me tie outs, but I'll show you now with this as a poncho. As you can see here, all of the airbag and inflatable stuff is all the way up here, all the way down there, and it's just a bit cumbersome. Not ideal. Makes getting a comfortable poncho pretty damn hard. The thing at the back I've not been able to do anything with, but it is what it is. There's your poncho. Would it work like this? Yes. Would this irritate the bejesus out of me? Yes. This is what it looks like without the inflatable tubes. So, still not ideal by any stretch of the imagination, but it is so much more comfortable and manoeuvrable. When you're walking around like that, you've not got the big, bulky, rustly thing, which is basically all podged up round here when you're walking. Not the greatest. It feels a damn sight better. The back is still a concern, but you know, there's ways and means that you could alter that. So here endeth the modification of the Zelter shelter. I need to sort my crap out, learn how to stitch like Mac tightwad, then it would be golden. But until then, I'm happy. I'm even half tempted to use it this way next time I go out. But I've got to give it a fair chance. I've got to use that inflatable stuff. Although that would come in very handy for ballast for my next canoe, wouldn't it? Anyway, flotation, sorry, not ballast. I'll have a think about that. Definitely loads more room. Oh, the little 2-inch hole down the bottom. I've got to stop doing that, my wife will kill me. The little 2-inch hole in that corner, I'm trying to figure it out, and the only way I can think of at the moment is to have something coming from the inside out, which will act like a little bit of a veranda canopy. I don't know what you bleeding call it, but it will, when the rain comes down towards that hole, it will run off on the outside if it comes from the inside. This here does actually run right the way around the corner, which I couldn't see before. I can now. It may well do the job. It probably will do the job. In fairness, it probably will do the job. Zelter shelter. I'm a lot happier with this one now than I was earlier on. So there you go. Another cobbled together video. Because let's face it, I've got now better to do, but the end is in sight. Looking forward to getting out again. If you did, for some reason, enjoy this sort of content, and you want to hook a brother up, please like, share, subscribe. The more comments than that I get to say you're a heavy breathing, fat nosed ginger bar steward, please stop making videos. Still helps. And if you're in America, post us up on all your Facebook bleeding pages, because that'll also help. Not that you'll be able to understand a word I'm saying. Anyhow, I'm gonna walk out. Till next time, ta-ra.